because I started out with Canon 1000D. I still remember. I don't want to live anymore. I want to die.
Everything is settled now. Now I'll be going on an India tour.
They used to fund my trip just for me to click pictures for them.
So what was the story behind the monkey which you were gifted?
So one monkey's mother died, and this baby was given to us to help. Became one of the largest organization that surveys dolphins, gangetic dolphins all over the country.
Hello everyone and welcome to the episode 3 of the Inside Hour where ideas resonate. I'm your host Kishlay Kumar and today we have a fascinating episode lined up for you. We are diving into the world of photography, storytelling and the magic of capturing moments that convey a story. Our guest today is someone who wears many hats: an assistant professor, an author, a science communicator, a corporate trainer, and most importantly for today's conversation, a phenomenal landscape and nature photographer. His work combines academic excellence with artistic expression, and his passion for storytelling shines through in both his photography and writing. From the snow-covered landscapes of Kashmir to the deep realms of research and teaching, he has seen and done it all. Please welcome Dr. Archan Mitra to the show.
Thank you, Kishlay. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming to the episode 3. We're going to start this with a very first question. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing fine, with a little bit of heat in Mangalore, so it's a little bit difficult to go around. But yes, adjusting to the weather.
Is it more than Kolkata?
No, it is very similar to Kolkata. So I am feeling more homely, but and I'm feeling the problems that is to face in Kolkata, the similar problems I'm facing in Mangalore.
Okay, so where you were born, how your childhood was, and when you started your career, and when you came into academia, like teaching and being a professor.
Great. I had a roller coaster ride because I was born to a very poor family. My father had a private job, only 800 rupees per month. So we used to live in one. I still remember we had only one room to live in, and not much. We didn't have electricity. So I generally had a very, very tough childhood. But my parents worked hard and put me through some good school so that I can, have some bit of knowledge in that area. So I struggled a lot. Because they were not able to fund my studies, so I had to shift schools after 11, and then I got into a government college. Again into government university, and also for PhD also I got into government, so I got a lot of scholarships wherever I could find. I simultaneously did graduation and engineering together, and then I did my masters and diploma together. So I in 4 years I completed 8 years of studies. So in that way I did what I could, and then a lot of people helped me on the way. Little by little things started getting better. My parents, especially my father, is an artist, so artists are very difficult for them to jobs to come by. It is like project based jobs.
Yeah.
So that is there. Then my mother is a singer, so both of them were artists, and difficult time for artists to be at that point of time in the 1990s. Because a lot of globalization was happening. So that is the reason why I think there was a little difficulty in me growing up during that time. But it all turned up well when I got my first job in Indian Institute of Management, Kashipur, Uttarakhand. So that's the first time I stepped out of West Bengal and got my first break in one of the national institutes. From my town, I was the first person to ever get a job in Indian Institute of Management, like IIM or IITs in the country. So then I learned a lot from a lot of professors. I was working and studying at the same time in IIM, and I got a project to work on. Got my first break in a project like World Bank. I got to work for World Bank there, and then from then on I don't think so I stopped. I am here where I am.
Crazy experience. What first sparked your interest in photography?
My spark in photography was when my father bought me a hotshot camera when I was in class 11. So, and that was also because I asked him that I would utilize the camera for doing wedding photography.
Okay.
And in 2000, I'm talking about 2005 when I started wedding photography. At that time, wedding photography was not a thing. So I started a breed of wedding photographers. Those are now teaching others. So when I
Okay.
started in 2005, I had a team of 10 people who used to work on wedding photography and videography. So those now are India's one of the best in the eastern side of the country. They are doing great, and they have their teams of their own teams, and some of them have stopped, but some of them are making a good amount of money. One of my friends called Sambaran, he has his own organization based on wedding photography, and we started together, so it looks nice that they are doing really great. But then I shifted from a wedding to a much more passion based photography, because I came into academics.
Okay. So when you decided that, okay, now everything is settled down, now I'll be going on a India tour, and you went to Kashmir, Shimla, everywhere.
It was not pre-planned as such that I would go on, because I first of all did not have a camera.
Yeah.
So I used to my friends used to do is they used to take me on a trip. They used to fund my trip just for me to click pictures for them. So yes, it was a thing there then at that point of time. And because they did not know how to operate a camera, but they had money to buy it, so they bought it, but they didn't know how to operate it. So they used to take me along, and that's how I learned all the different cameras, because I started out with Canon 1000D, I still remember. But Canon 1000D had a lot of limitations as a camera, especially the low light photography thing. So I used to always carry a tripod. I still remember I have some photographs with 3-4 cameras together. And I still remember this one instance when I went with my friends and I was doing photography for them. One person came to me and handed me 100 rupee and told me that, can you click a photo for me? Then I told, I did it. My friends were telling, why did you do it? I said that in this world there is no job which is small.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, you can do it if you are honestly doing it. That's.
So what is the piece of advice from your side for the present photographers?
The piece of advice for present photographers is that, first of all, this analog and digital technology which has changed, because in my time when I started photography, I had only 16 to 30 reels to shoot, and I had a lot of limitations while using an analog camera. But because my father bought me a second-hand Zenith camera, so I started out with Zenith during my wedding photography days, and that was very difficult to operate and use, because once that moment goes in wedding, that's gone. You cannot ask them to do it again.
Yeah.
So, but now in digital, photography, that option of redoing is so much more. Okay, so that is there. But in the type of photography that I do, redo is again, first of all, reaching that place to really do something is again a very, very important aspect. So going to that place, taking care of the weather condition, the temperature, the knowing what the place is and how it will look at that point of time, it takes a lot of studies and research to really click one photo. So that is again there.
Crazy, sir. I came to know that you are very fond of animals and everything. So what was the story behind the monkey which you were gifted?
I was not gifted the monkey as such, but what happened is when I saw that other people were also struggling in this particular field, especially in West Bengal where jobs are very less. So I met this boy at called Ganesh. He was 7. He was starting in class 7 at that point of time when I met him, and he was working for one photographer, and like me, he used to do photography for that person. So, and I knew what were the disadvantages of doing it. So I tried to make him understand. Then, but he told me that no, he gets money from that. So why I'm telling this before the monkey, because this led to what how we received the monkey. So this boy, then the boy was an excellent fixturer. What a fixturer is. The video and the documents that you see on National Geographic and Discovery are not at all impromptu. They are fixed beforehand. So there is a fixturer who fixes the total scene set scenario, and then only it is shot.
Okay.
So it's total acting that is done, and that is how you do it. Because I did my internship with British Broadcasting Corporation for the documentary called The Planet Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a work for them. So I was an assistant camera person. So that is when I got in touch with Ganesh, and Ganesh was working with him for 3 years around. So he was in class 10 when he called me up. I was working in IM. He called me up and said that, I got a shock when he said that I don't want to live anymore, I want to die. I said, what happened to you? Why are you on the verge of suicide? Something like that. So he told me that they have taken all my photos, and the people who took he took the photos for them, but they used it for international competitions, and they won over 12 national awards.
And he was not.
He was not even given a credit. So this is his story. So I told him, don't worry, you go to your village, you give me what are there in your village, and I will come and I will try to set something up for you. So there we went and set up an organization called Wild Reaction, Wildlife Research and Conservation. And today that became one of the largest organization that surveys dolphins, Gangetic dolphins all over the country. And our Shri Narendra Modi, our Honorable Prime Minister, said that in his report recently of the Gangetic dolphins, 2,688 dolphins found in India, and we harbor around 256 of them in our private owned sanctuary. So we are asking the government to give us a sanctuary status. Again, India's second Gangetic dolphin sanctuary status in Noachur, West Bengal. So we are fighting for it. Hopefully we'll get it. And this is where the chief conservator of forest comes and gives us. We do a lot of rescue work. So if anyone's house there is a snake, there is a monitor lizard, there is some issue with any animal, we go and rescue the animal and we bring it. So we have a separate island. We have a bird island for bird rescue. We have a snake island for snake rescue. That island only has snakes. So these all islands are in front of in between the Gangetic plains, so Gangetic river islands. So we protect them there, and with the help of the villagers. So one monkey's mother died, and this baby was given to us to help bring up the baby. So we got that baby and we tried to, without a mother, a baby generally doesn't survive, but we tried to do it. At least for 6 months it survived, and then we had to lose it unfortunately, and that was a huge loss for our organization.
Okay, so these sanctuaries are in Kolkata only?
Yeah, no, they are not in exact Kolkata. They are around 3 hours from Kolkata. So it is not a sanctuary status, but it's called an eco village. So we termed it as an eco village. Eco village because it's a village that the villagers themselves, they cater to the ecology and the protection. You will tell me that how is it possible? It is possible where these people who were killing those birds, same birds, and eating them for food because they did not have money to get a 2 times meal. So when I explained them that if you, instead of killing these birds, if you show these birds or selling them, if you show these birds to photographers, they will pay you more money. So you can buy more food with it. So when they understood this, that there is a market for protecting these birds and showing it them to the photographers in India, and they'll come and shoot it. So that really intrigued the villagers, and they thought that they will work with me on this. So I brought tourists for them, and they got money, and then that way it became turned into an eco village.
Was it difficult to make those villagers understand that how it will work and how they will earn the money?
Yeah, it was very difficult at first, because when I first entered that village with Ganesh, both me and Ganesh were thrown, like stones were thrown at us, and villagers drived us out of the village. But now, like whenever I enter the village, it is like a festival for them, because they believe that I transformed the whole village into India's good eco village hotspot.
When you last visited there?
I visited last year.
Yeah. How is it going?
Yeah, it is from one resort. It has the villagers have made another resort of around 6 rooms. So it was 4 rooms. It started as a 4-room because then they have bought a boat. Now they have got well-equipped cameras. We are asking for National Geographic and Discovery to fund us some projects, and also other videographers to fund us some wonderful projects so that we can get some money out of it.
How was your reaction or your excitement level when one of the most prominent magazine published one of your photograph of a barking deer?
Yeah, like I posted the photo on Instagram and they contacted me on Instagram itself saying that they want this photograph. I had experiences before, and one of the very prominent experiences in 2013 when I came to Mysore. This is my third visit to Mysore, which I had last week. So when I came to Mysore, I clicked a photograph of the Mysore Palace.
Yeah.
And the Mysore Palace organization, the management, they when I posted it on Google Photos was it was Google Plus before. So Google Plus, I posted it on Google Plus. So from Google Plus, they contacted me and they bought that photo for that ticket. So the ticket that you see when you enter Mysore Palace is the ticket that the photograph is clicked by me. So they bought it for 15,000 rupees. I still remember. And then this particular barking deer also, they requested me that they will showcase it in the magazine. And I was really very appalled by their this opportunity. So I went for it, and barking deers are very difficult to click in the wild.
Yeah.
So as it was clicked in the wild, so they were very, very awestruck that how this particular barking deer came into my sight. And I told them the story. It's because it was searching for food, and it was really hungry. So it didn't care if there was a photographer there in front of it.
So in which year this Mysore Palace thing happened?
Mysore Palace thing happened in 2013.
Okay.
So way back in 2013 when, but now that same frame cannot be clicked anymore. Why? Because there is a lot of foliage that has grown. So the frame that I got and the frame now photographers won't be able to get because of the foliage. So they had planted a lot of trees, and now those trees have grown up, and you are missing those frames. So that frame is lost until unless you cut those trees.
I came to know that you visited Pithoragarh also.
Yeah, I did.
Like that is a place which is too beautiful and not much of them explore them.
Correct.
So how you went, and in which year you visited Pithoragarh?
Pithoragarh I visited in 2016.
In 2016, I guess only 1% or less than 1%
Correct.
of the population knows about Pithoragarh.
Correct. There were no roads because I was going for a project for Indian Council for Social Science Research. We were doing a project on the Uttarakhand disaster, and we were trying to find out how far the information about that disaster reached and what were the implications. So I had to go to Pithoragarh, and so as a photographer and a researcher, it goes hand in hand. So I took my camera along with me, and I got beautiful pictures of Pithoragarh, and people wanted to tell me that how do you reach there, and I got to some beautiful temples. I got to some villages with only 3 houses. So those villages, they had no idea that how the world has developed. They have been living on the mountains for I think 7-8 generations. So I asked them that when this flash flood happened, what did you do? Well, they told me that by watching the animal movements, they understood some disaster is going to happen, and they had already taken higher grounds. So their houses were indigenously made, beautiful place, untouched beauty. Then now it has become very popular with Panchachuli base camp. Then there are a lot of treks. One of my friends, when I went, he got information from me. He went there, bought land, and now he's starting a resort there in the Panchachuli base camp range.
Last week only I was seeing a video of Pithoragarh and I just saw the comparison. 2017 was something else and 2024
Correct.
is something
Absolutely.
else.
So what I saw was absolutely mesmerizing.
Do you think there is a connection between an artist, whether through photography or writing?
Yes. See, the part is that in both the cases you are basically narrating a story. So your photograph has to narrate a story about not only about the target subject that you're clicking, but it has to tell the story about the subject as well. So what problem with modern photographers is that if they see a exotic bird, they will click the bird and they will make it in such a way, they will click it in such a way that the whole bird covers your total frame. But in my case, I generally do not enjoy doing that. What I enjoy doing that is I want to create photography that shows where it lives, how it lives, whom it interacts with, how it interacts with. So I was in search of Himalayan griffins, one of the IUCN endangered vultures of our country. It's also called the golden vultures because their feathers are golden in color. So rarely people see those because they are above 4,000 meter, like above 4,000 meters high. They only stay above 4,000 meters high. So I was trekking to the higher reaches of the mountains in like Himachal Pradesh, and I came across one vulture on one particular tree, and I was traveling towards that tree to click its photograph. Then I saw a school, a total, bunch of Himalayan griffins. I was alone all over. I saw a bunch of Himalayan griffins, and there were around 20 to 25 Himalayan griffins. To my surprise, 20 to 25 together, I don't think so any photographer has ever photographed before, because they are generally solitary, hunters or scavengers rather. So that happened because there was a animal which was killed, and it was on the on the mountainside. They were scavenging on it, and I got to see one of the most extraordinary thing, that their courtship and their the way they their courtship ritual is again not recorded before. So I got to see their courtship ritual, and I photographed their courtship ritual. That was an amazing experience altogether.
Amazing, sir. Now we'll be moving into the rapid fire, where I'll be giving you the questions, and within a span of seconds you need to answer it.
Okay.
Without any explanations.
Okay, absolutely. Go ahead.
First question. A book you could read over and over.
Harry Potter.
One writing habit you swear by.
Writing habit you swear by, like means, like, you could explain the question to me again?
Like, what is the topic which you can write?
Oh, travel.
Travel. What's one thing students should always focus on in communication?
Less communication, more effectiveness.
Your go-to camera for capturing landscape?
Nikon.
If you had to choose teaching, writing or photography for life?
Teaching photography.
One underrated skill every photographer should develop?
Keeping your body still.
Mountain or forest, your ideal photography setting?
Forest, mountains.
A quote that keeps you motivated?
I want to be a kingmaker, not a king.
Your dream travel destination for both writing and photography?
Kashmir. There's no other better place.
What's the most unexpected lesson research has taught you?
Patience.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And after this, I have a very simple question. How was Kashmir?
See, specifically when I first went to Kashmir, it was in 2012. So, Kashmir is, I think in India, it is one of the most difficult place to photograph, especially for wildlife, landscape, whoever you tell it, because once you are with a camera, people will look at you at a very different way. And when I went to Kashmir in 2012, then I visited Kashmir 3 times in 3 seasons. One during the winter, one during the autumn, and one during the spring. So my reason for visiting Kashmir 3 times is to click the beauty of Kashmir during this 3 time period, because Kashmir is totally different in these 3 especially times. There are a lot of challenges in Kashmir. If you do not know local people, then it's very difficult for you to photograph, first of all. As a tourist, yes, but tourism and landscape and nature photographer doesn't go hand in hand, because for tourists it's just a trip, but for us photographers, we have to decide on what kind of time frame, place, and everything has to be decided to before photograph it. And another problem for photography is too much of snow.
Yeah.
All of the photographers believe that it's very easy to click photographs during snow, but it's really very difficult to those photographers, those who know how to, what difficulty they face while using white balance. They will know how difficult it is to white balance during a snowy weather. Okay, so yeah, photographing snow is not easy. It looks very good on mobile phones, but it's not that easy with a DSLR camera. So again, that is there. The landscape of the place is like beyond beautiful. I can't just express with words. And another place which is very similar to it is the Himachal Pradesh Zanskar Valley, which I went in 2018. The Spiti Valley, which is again very untouched. I went there, I forced the driver to take me to Kunzum Pass during winter season. So he was telling that there is 30% chance that our vehicle will fall down the cliff due to hard snow, black snow. So but whenever there was black snow, we come up with a shovel and we try to clear the path, and it took us 7 to 8 hours. So by we reached down to Manali, it was around evening. So from morning we started at 5 and reached Manali. That total experience and Kashmir's experience in totality is one of the best experiences I had in life.
Define Kashmir's beauty in a single word.
Out of the world.
Good one. Recently, you presented a research paper at an international seminar. Could you tell us a bit about this research and why oral traditions remain so relevant today?
The fact that oral traditions is the real tradition. So the thing is that in Bengal there is a saying. There was this old city where two kings used to live, and the king did not have a son of his own, so he adopted another son, and the daughter of that particular the wife of that particular person was called Khona. And till today in Bengal, everyone follows something called Khona's Bochon, which in English translated is the words of Khona. Why? Because Khona was asked by the king that you are so talented that not even my court men can fight against you for science. So what she did, she for 7 days the court of the king ordered that the tongue will be cut off from Khona, and Khona told the king that give me 7 days time, and give me 7 days time, and in 7 days I will tell what I want. And for non-stop she told for 7 days, and this oral tradition was passed down by the villagers, and today also this scientific knowledge that she has passed down has come down through an oral tradition, and our people in West Bengal follow that. So whenever there is some scientific changes, we tell that due to what she told, we can find out that the cause and effect relationship. So oral traditions is part and parcel of life for us, because we generally follow that, and in our place. And I think it is very similar to what South India, North India, or East or West, wherever you see, it is the stories that your grandmother told you will remain with you rather than the stories that you see on Netflix and OTT platforms.
Sir, what are some of the most effective corporate training methods?
Yeah, corporate training methods, first of all, is basically what training that I used to give is basically thinking big, or thinking big picture, then trying to be more creative in their work. So basically it's more about communication effectiveness. So the better you are at communicating, the better the communication channels and information channel will be. So it is kind of, the corporate works on a top down approach, but what we train people in the corporate is to how to change the top down approach into an horizontal approach. So this horizontal communication approach is peer to peer process, where peers will learn from one peer, and there will be no manager. There will be a kind of a person who is going to be your peer, senior in your right, but will not impose any top down information on you, rather much more into a peer centric communication process. So that is what the major area for my working on corporate training is.
Any instance when a training program failed and how you handled it?
Yeah, the corporate training program that we were giving in a village, and it was part of a CSR initiative by Nitte Institute of Training and Development. So we were giving this training to the villagers, making them understand why environment is important, and they outrightly told us that we don't have food to eat, then how will we think about environment? Because that's not possible. Even in urban space also, when we discussed about this corporate training in the corporate houses, where we are talking about how to reduce carbon footprint of the organization, and we were basically doing this for the environmental impact assessment of that particular industry in the villages and in the urban areas. It totally failed, and the organization couldn't collect any data information from it. Then I had to talk to one of the economists who I have met back in IIM Kashipur, and I wanted to ask him that if there is a way to make them understand this with the help of money. What is the effect of environment in the monetary concern? So he told me a concept called bioeconomy, and this bioeconomy concept I used, and I told them that if there is pesticide or there is rat infestation, this amount of grain you are losing every week. So basically, if the food chain is not proper, then rats will increase, mosquitoes will increase. So these are the things. Then they understood that yes, if there is a financial loss, then I need to save it, because 7.5 rupees per week grain loss is a huge thing for the villages.
Yeah.
So then they understood that if we have not to lose this much of amount of money, we will be going towards protecting the environment in such a way, both for the urban setting and for the rural setting. For the urban setting, it was mosquitoes. We took the example case study of mosquitoes increase, and for the rural setting, we took the example of rats, because they are the menace to grains, food grains.
How's your experience working at BBC? Like, it's a dream job, internship.
Yeah, I think I have met the person whom I wanted to meet. Like, people wants to meet Shah Rukh Khan, people wants to meet, all the film stars. But I wanted to meet one person in life, that is, his name is David Attenborough. So I got to meet him. He gave me a signed book. I think I have achieved everything I could in my life.
Crazy.
By meeting him.
Kolkata or Mangalore?
Of course, Kolkata. But yeah, Mangalore is treating me very well. Let's see.
I guess it's been 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, it has been 1.5 months.
Yeah.
I guess nearing 2.
How's that experience?
Yeah, experience is very good. Beautiful place. I think from the places where I worked, Uttarakhand and Mangalore are the 2 beautiful places.
Okay. This question I asked to everyone who travels from north to south. North India or South India?
See, I am not part of North India, first of all. I am part of the eastern
Northeast.
part, not northeast, but extreme eastern space of the country. So we are neither north, neither south, but our culture is very similar. West Bengal and Karnataka, Kerala culture is very, very similar. Our food habits, our way of living, everything is very similar. So I do not find any dissimilarity between our place. The only thing is that we eat a lot of freshwater fish, and here everyone eats a lot of sea fish. So that's the only difference.
Okay, when you are talking about food, your best sweet in Kolkata?
Best sweet in Kolkata would definitely be something called jol bhora, which is I cannot translate it because there is no English translation for it. It is a sweet where it's a mold. Inside the mold you will find honey or jaggery. So it's interesting. It's like a chocolate shot where you're eating the chocolate, and once you come in the middle of the chocolate, you find a little bit the molten chocolate that you find. So it's kind of that kind of a sweet. So that's my favorite sweet there.
Dr. Archan, this has been a fantastic conversation.
Thank you
insightful,
so much.
inspiring, and full of stories. Before we wrap up, any final words for young photographers, writers, or any looking to tell better stories?
See, photograph cannot be stumbled upon. It is a constant effort of hard work and perseverance and patience. So I would request all my fellow photographers and students and senior photographers to keep that in mind, and go ahead with your creativity in mind without harming the nature or wildlife. Please research on it, whatever you want, before taking a camera in your hands, because with great power comes great responsibility, and today camera is a huge responsibility and a great power in hands. Thank you.
Brilliant. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning into episode 3 season 1 of the Insight Hour. If you love today's conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe and share this episode. Signing off, this is your host Kishlay Kumar. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating and keep telling your story. Thank you.